Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. What we're going to be looking at doing today is changing the arrangement where the Carpuride sits on the bike, on the crossbar. At the moment it's sat on a plastic cross member, and I'll bring the camera around to show you what I mean. So for a while I've had the ball joint assembly connected to this crossbar, and we're going to make and fabricate a new bar that's going to fit behind the two bolts at the back. So we're going to take the screen off and prefabricate a piece, get it welded up, get it painted up, and then get it back on the bike and see how it looks. So we'll go through the process of stripping off the screen and seeing what we've got behind the screen and prefabricating the part and putting it back on. So the first thing we need to do, guys, is take the existing bolts out of the screen and remove the screen. You can see I've got the deflectors still on the screen. They're working really well, guys. I'm still waiting for a better solution, a better option. I know there's a few Givi screens out, and there's a few now on AliExpress, and they're not overly expensive, for around €80 or something like that for the screens, but to me they look pretty much similar to what's on, albeit a bit taller, and I wanted a bit more side protection wind. On this configuration as I've got it at the moment, I get zero wind whatsoever, no buffeting, and I'm prepared to put up with all the bits hanging off left, right and centre till I get a better solution, rather than just buying something very similar to what I've got. So I'll put these screws out of the way so we don't lose them. And the final one, you've got to be careful when you take this off that the screen doesn't fall off. So we'll take that one off and remove that out of the way. So you can see the basic screen configuration behind the screen. You've got this bracket that moves up and down and in situ and goes into place. And what I'm intending to do now, we'll fabricate a bracket and we'll come back when we've got that bracket ready to go on the bike. So it's going to be a couple of pieces of flat plate and a piece of handlebar that I'm going to weld into position, and then just paint up, and we'll try it back on the bike. So we'll go through them processes and we'll get it back on the bike and see how it looks and how it mounts up with the Carpuride unit. So guys, here's a really quick mock-up of the bar. It's not totally tightened on, but it's a lot more solid than the plastic bracket at the back here. It's further forward. I'm going to try it with the Carpuride at the moment and the screen on before I start doing any welding. You can see it's split at the side, and the two bars that come around the front into two slots. They'll be welded up, the whole thing will be cleaned up, the ends will be capped off, and then I'll get it sprayed up and black and we'll get it back on. You won't see behind the screen, it'll be pretty much hidden, to be honest. The only real part you'll see is from this position. You'll see the black part at the top and these two curved parts, but that's about it. So we'll mock the screen on now and see if that all goes back okay. Then we'll try it with the Carpuride in place and see what sort of configuration we can get on the ball mount, and if it's all good we'll take it up and weld it up, get it cleaned up, get the ends capped off and get it primed and sprayed. So there we are, guys, there's a rough mock-up of the bar in situ, bolted to the frame, really solid. The side brackets have been welded from the other side, and the view from the cockpit, you can see rubber bungs both ends, bar across the top to fit the navigation unit too. And the way to get this to be installed easily is to fix the screen on with the two bottom bolts, take the two top bolts out, slide this behind the screen and clamp it into place. But what I'm going to do at the moment, I'm just going to get the bracket on and see how the Carpuride sits in situ on the bar itself, and we'll get back on when we've got the Carpuride on. So guys, just taking it for a test ride. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's very sturdy. It's a lot better than we had before. If I can just show you underneath there, I've got a 360 camera mount on it as well. Come around to the other side so you can see the configuration there. It's slightly offset. I've got it offset so I can use some of the bar for other things. I've got the 360 mount for a 360 camera and a small extension over the top there, or even if I want to shoot it out the side and over that way, as opposed to having it on the bars, because this is always facing the right way. One of the biggest bugbears on it was when the fittings are underneath, these screws or bolts are bolted onto the new bar that I've put on that goes down the back. You've got to make sure they don't foul on the screen on the lowest setting. The way I've got it at the moment, it's pretty perfect. So if I push it onto lowest setting at the moment, you can actually raise and lower it using the new bar that's on there. So if I push down on there, you can see, if we go around the side, you can see the two bolts there don't foul on the screen. They sit either side of the screen, so there's a bit of fettling to get it just as you want it. Again, if we push it back up and over, push it back up from the front, you can see we've got plenty of distance underneath, plenty of clearance, and if I can get down underneath, you can see the configuration. The two bolts that come through, the bar sitting above it, and the bar cap ends, the rubber stop ends pushed in the end of the bars. So yeah guys, all in all, it's done what I want it to do. It's got it off this plastic bracket. I don't know if you can see it with the reflection here, but behind these 2 points is the plastic bracket going across. That's what I had it anchored to before, and it was that was very, very flimsy. And you can see at the moment where I've got it currently mounted on this cross rail that goes across, which is part of the windscreen frame bracket. And it's very, very solid on there. There's not so much of a problem, but if you notice, if I do that, you can see movements in this, stress points on the two corners, and this is a plastic section, so the reality is in time with a heavy screen on the back, it's going to cause some stress points. I was guessing in time that would eventually have caused a couple of stress marks and it would have broken off. So yeah guys, I'm just going to have a quick look at the clutch now and see if there's any adjustment to the play on that. I'm going to call it a day. So yeah, another tweak and another gadget on the bike, as it were. Pretty happy with it. Like I say, took it out for a test ride and it seems okay. What I'll do, I'll lower this tripod down into a normal position and I'll get on the bike in my riding position, and that's my riding position. This is roughly on its highest setting with the extender on, is just on the height of my chin, so it deflects the air over the top, so you can see the screen and you can see the main screen how they're configured. This one's a bit nearer to me, which I don't really dislike. I quite like that. This one's quite far away, and it's quite bright and readable. You can see you've got the car per ride different options that everyone's used to, split screen. I've got it actually on my iPhone at the moment, but it's Android Auto is just as good, to be honest, once you get used to using the different systems. I've got Waze I'm using at the moment for maps, which is really, really good unless you want to go to a specific area of interest that shows on Google Maps. You can still do that and then use Waze after and search for a destination. But yeah, Waze at the moment seems to be the way to go for me. It's very concise, even when the map's not running in navigation mode. Good thing with Waze, it shows your actual speed, so your GPS speed on the screen. It still comes up with any accidents or incidents on the road ahead, even though you're not navigating. So it's quite a good system. So yeah, like I say, you've got the split screen. You can have one screen bigger, one screen smaller, and you can see on the super meter for Scuto, who's got the little screen down on the super meter down there. So yeah, all in all, a good little fitment or a gadget. Let's make sure these rubber plugs don't work their way out. They seem fairly well in, to be honest. So yeah, there's the view from underneath, guys. It's just a bar that's gone on the two top fixings for the windscreen, and solid metal bar, painted black, solid plate brackets, and an extra bit of room on the side to put camera equipment, as opposed to having it down here on the handlebars. So yeah guys, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out guys.